Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Accelerator with Michael Conniff. That's me. This is a program dedicated to entrepreneurs and founders and startups, and our hope to connect the most interesting entrepreneurs I have met so far in our brief history, and that is Mr. Andre Facote of Skizo in Portugal, in Lisbon. Hello, Andre. Welcome.
I
It's great to see you. We met on a unicorn pitch, which I recommend to everybody. And Andre pitched a product, and we're going to get to the product. It's a recycled product, recycled shoes initially. But what I want to do, Andre, is give you an opportunity to tell what is really kind of a moving story um, about your daughter. Because when I asked you about this the first time, I think you said to me, I asked you to explain it, and you said, "Well, I became a father. That's how
yeah,
this happened." So you became a father. Then what happened?
yes. First of all, thank you for the invitation to be part of your podcast. It's an
Absolutely.
honor for me and for us for Skizo also. Yeah, the story it's maybe in the future could be a movie because that's
You sound
yeah
like an American
we
already.
we don't know but yeah I've been I'm in the 2017 I start this new mission on earth. I'm a father of a beautiful kid, and one time we live near of the beach here in Lisboa, and one time I think my son with 1 year and a half maybe we are um, joking and running from in the sand, and we saw my son trying to put some plastics in her mouth and some garbage, and it's not the image that the parents want to see. It's a problem. It's not just here in Portugal. Maybe it's not the biggest problem here in Portugal or in Europe, but in the other countries we know that the problem is bigger than here. And then we start to think that it's not that legacy that we want to pass for the next generations, and we start to think what we can do with that waste, because it's waste nobody wants, so it's free raw material. And we start to think what we can do with that garbage. So it's the beginning of the Schizo story.
Yeah, and so most people would just say that's terrible, walk away. You live in a country that I learned recently because I'm planning a visit. Um, has 500 miles of beach, which is almost inconceivable. It's like it really, I've heard it compared to California in many ways, and even Florida on the Algarve coast. But the point is this, that you decided to make a pretty significant change in your life because of how you felt about this with your kids. And your wife is involved as well, right? So it was the both of you.
Yes,
Well,
yes, we are both co-founder in our life for all.
co-founders in more ways than one.
Yeah, we are co-founders for life.
Co-founders for that's great. I hope that's in your vows. But what were you both doing when you first started? What job were you both in? Jobs, I should say.
Yeah, we had a small company in Portugal before Skizo. It's like, how can I explain? We have a company that do the management of buildings.
Ah,
Like
okay.
they pay the quotes, and we pay the electricity
Hmm.
and make the management of the building to make it
Hmm. Hmm.
cool. So and this is our last company, and it's a small company in Lisbon. Uh, and Andrea have a degree in journalism, and I have a degree in um, business and management. So we don't know nothing about fashion and fabrics and yarns and transformation
So it's all
and
new. It's all new to you. You had
yeah.
no idea about any of this. So what's the first thing you did when you decided, and maybe tell us how you decided together? Did it both occur to you at the same time, or was it one of yours idea convincing the other? How did that happen?
No, um, we 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 start to think that we have to do something, but
Mm,
we don't want to do something that it's already done, or the other companies
mhm.
are already doing. So because it's one more without any difference or without any story. So we start to think what we can do different that the normal companies are doing right now. So we start to think that, and we saw that China start to transform post-consumer plastic into a yarn. China have it's like a we in Portugal we when we saw a very good business, we call it business from China, because it's a business from China, a very good business. And this is like one of them, because all the sends to all that waste to China and pays for that, and then China transform that post-consumer plastic into a yarn and then sells to the Europe. So it's like it's what we call a business from China,
Yeah.
and we saw that they can transform post-consumer PET into a new polyester yarn.
Mm,
So we in Portugal we are very good, and we have know-how in that in fabrics and yarns, and that ecosystem is very good in Portugal.
mhm.
And we start to make challenging all the ecosystem to make something different. And we have some lucky, because some of them have the same as we. So we start to make that process and the formulation that can produce that yarn. But our first idea is just to sell the yarn to the other companies. And when we finish our yarn for the first time, we start to sell that yarn to the other companies, and they don't want to buy because it's not from China, and the price is not the same. It's a little bit higher. They don't want to know that that yarn it's like a different story, um, because it's all about profit
Mhm.
at the end.
What was
And
the
we start to
quality? What
listen.
was the quality of the yarn?
It's a very good yarn, the China yarn. So we know that probably in the future they will lose some microplastics, but we have a strong yarn, and we have some like a capsule involved that yarn that brings more stronger, and we don't want to make another problem, because we are collect the plastic from the ocean and send microplastics from the ocean that is almost impossible to collect. So that's why we want to give to the market something different, something with some we have a lot of R&D in that product, and that's why we know that is a very good product. But it's not indestructible. So in the future,
Yeah.
maybe we could maybe it will be losing some microplastics, but we are working for that problem.
But let me ask you this: the so your initial idea is to sell